You श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवाननी जय, अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम महाराजनी जय, गुणातीतानंद स्वामी महाराजनी जय, भगत जी महाराजनी जय, शास्त्री जी महाराजनी जय, योगी जी महाराजनी जय, प्रमुख स्वामी महाराजनी जय, महंत स्वामी महाराजनी जय, अक्षरधाम महोत्सवनी जय. Namaste and Jai Swaminarayan. Welcome to this momentous occasion as we gather here today to celebrate a remarkable milestone in the history of BAPS Canada. We're honored by your presence as we begin the year-long celebration of 5 decades of legacy, 50 years of community service, 50 years of volunteerism, and 50 years of spiritual and societal impact. Tonight is a night to honor our past and remember the foundation that was built by Gurus Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Mahant Swami Maharaj, the inspirers of BAPS. It's a time to celebrate the present by thinking about the impact that BAPS has had on communities across our country. And it's a time to think about the future, how each of us seated here today have a collective responsibility to carry the legacy of selfless service forward for the next 50 years and beyond. So as we start our celebrations today, let's open our hearts and minds to the stories that will be shared tonight. Stories about our foundation, endeavors, determination, and motivation. Let's be inspired by the remarkable individuals who have selflessly served to better the lives of Canadians. Now, with deep reverence for the spiritual foundation that underpins BAPS, and in observance of the National Day of Remembrance for Victims of Terrorism, which was held earlier this week, we will now unite in a heartfelt prayer, which will embody our profound gratitude, unwavering devotion, and boundless compassion as we commence today's gathering.
राम कृष्ण गोविंद जय जय गोविंद, 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 हरे राम 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 गोविंद जय जय गोविंद, राम कृष्ण 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 गोविंद जय जय गोविंद, नारायण हरे स्वामी नारायण हरे, 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 स्वामी नारायण हरे स्वामी नारायण हरे, राम कृष्ण गोविंद जय जय गोविंद, राम कृष्ण गोविंद जय जय गोविंद, कृष्ण देव हरे जय जय कृष्ण देव हरे, कृष्ण देव हरे कृष्ण देव हरे, जय जय कृष्ण देव हरे,
कृष्ण देव हरे, जय जय कृष्ण देव हरे,
जय जय कृष्ण देव हरे, जय जय कृष्ण देव हरे। राम कृष्ण गोविंद जय जय गोविंद,
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 वासुदेव हरे, जय जय वासुदेव हरे,
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 जय जय वासुदेव हरे, जय जय वासुदेव हरे। राम कृष्ण गोविंद जय जय गोविंद, राम कृष्ण गोविंद
जय जय गोविंद,
वासुदेव गोविंद जय जय वासुदेव 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 गोविंद,
जय जय वासुदेव गोविंद, जय जय वासुदेव गोविंद। राम कृष्ण गोविंद जय जय गोविंद, राम कृष्ण गोविंद जय जय गोविंद, राम कृष्ण गोविंद जय जय गोविंद,
राम कृष्ण गोविंद जय जय गोविंद,
राधे गोविंद जय राधे 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 गोविंद,
वृंदावन चंद्र 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 जय राधे गोविंद,
माधव मुकुंद जय माधव मुकुंद,
माधव मुकुंद जय माधव मुकुंद,
हे आनंद कंद जय माधव मुकुंद,
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 स्वामी नारायण नारायण नारायण, 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 स्वामी नारायण 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 स्वामी
नारायण
नारायण नारायण।
मङ्गलं शुभ मङ्गलं हे प्रभु हे मङ्गलदाता। मङ्गलं शुभ मङ्गलं हे प्रभु हे मङ्गलदाता। मङ्गलं शुभ मङ्गलं हे प्रभु हे मङ्गलदाता। विश्व का कल्याण हो, विश्व का कल्याण हो, कर्म मंगल हो हमारे, मन में मंगल भाव हो। मंगलम शुभ मंगलम हे प्रभु हे मंगलदाता। नाथ सर्जन या विसर्जन, बात बस में है तेरे। नाथ सर्जन या विसर्जन, बात बस में है तेरे। देना चरणों में जगह, देना चरणों में जगह, हम शरण में आए तेरे। मंगलम शुभ मंगलम हे प्रभु हे मंगलदाता। मंगलम शुभ मंगलम हे प्रभु हे मंगलदाता। ऐसी दो शक्ति हम सदाचारी बने। हे प्रभु ऐसी दो शक्ति हम सदाचारी बने। सत्य नीति धर्म भक्ति सेवा व्रत धारी बने। सत्य नीति धर्म भक्ति सेवा व्रत धारी बने। मंगलम शुभ मंगलम हे प्रभु हे मंगलदाता। प्रगट प्रभु जी आप निश दिन आँखों में बस के रहे। प्रगट प्रभु जी आप निश दिन आँखों में बस के रहे। जागो तो दर्शन तुम्हारे, जागो तो दर्शन तुम्हारे। सोए तो सपने तेरे। मंगलम शुभ मंगलम हे प्रभु हे मंगलदाता। विश्व का कल्याण हो, कर्म मंगल हो हमारे। मन में मंगल भाव हो। मंगलम हे मंगलम हे प्रभु हे मंगलदाता। मंगलम शुभ मंगलम हे प्रभु हे मंगलदाता। मंगलम शुभ मंगलम हे प्रभु हे मंगलदाता। तपसि वीर्यं मयि देहि। बलमसि बलं मयि ओजोसि ओजो मयि देहि। मन्योरसि मन्यो मयि देहि। सहोसि सहो असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। शान्तिः अन्तरिक्षं शान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिः आपः शान्तिः ओषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिः विश्वे देवाः शान्तिः ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वं शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सा मा शान्तिरेधि ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ स्वामिनारायणाय नमः। ॐ स्वामिनारायणाय नमः। ॐ स्वामिनारायणाय नमः। ॐ
decades, BAPS has been a cornerstone of the Hindu community in Canada. From hosting spiritual activities to serving communities from all backgrounds, BAPS has made a positive impact in the lives of all Canadians. But this legacy and impact weren't just built or created in one day. It's been 50 years in the making. Over the last 50 years, the 15 visits by Gurus Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Mahant Swami Maharaj, as well as their constant guidance and inspiration, helped build the foundation of the Indo-Canadian and Hindu-Canadian community. They ignited the spark of spirituality and community service in this small but growing community that was looking to maintain their values in a new country. It was with their efforts and inspiration that BAPS's humble beginnings evolved into a nationally recognized charitable organization, acclaimed for its spiritual services and wide range of community activities. Today, let's commemorate the remarkable journey of BAPS Canada over the last 50 years, while remembering that the future is bright and laying the foundation for the next 50 years of community service.
For us to truly understand and appreciate BAPS Canada's legacy of community service and volunteerism, we must first look through time starting in 1974, when the foundation for the BAPS that we see today was first put into place. But the story doesn't end there. It's one that continued for the years and decades after. A true labor of love spanning 50 years. 50 years of sheer determination, unwavering commitment, and countless hours of sacrifice. But behind it all was a visionary, a beacon of light that ignited the path and led by example. And for BAPS Canada, that visionary was none other than His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj. So to understand the true magnitude of his personality, the impact that he had and the legacy that he left behind, let's invite Swami Chaitanya Murti Das, a scholar Swami of BAPS who firsthand saw how Pramukh Swami Maharaj built and grew BAPS in North America.
Namaste. We've gathered here today to celebrate community, to celebrate His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj's visit to Canada, and to celebrate beginnings of ceremonies of 50 years of BAPS in Canada. But we're also here to celebrate foundations, because today we sit here in Canada in the thousands, in the shadow of one of the most beautiful stone structures in Canada, many of us practicing the religion that we brought with us from India when we emigrated to Canada. But let us remember today what made this gathering possible here today. First are the values of the country that we now call home, Canada. The maple tree stands tall and firm because its roots are strong and deep. Canada upholds the values of multiculturalism, equality, respect, and cultural identity. It respects and encourages expression of all religions in all its forms, and that's why we're here today. But the second reason that we're here today, that we're able to gather here today, is because of one man's vision, one man's love, compassion, and mission, one man's hard work, His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj, one of the foundations of the mandir here in Toronto. As the fifth spiritual successor of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, Pramukh Swami Maharaj had impacted millions of lives across the world. During his 95 years on this earth, he visited 51 countries and 17,000 towns and villages around the world, 250,000 homes, writing over 750,000 letters personally to meet people one-on-one. But most importantly, Pramukh Swami Maharaj had a vision. He had a vision of a harmonious humanity, a happy humanity, and his vision was holistic. He wanted to help people everywhere, but he wanted to help them in every way. First of all, Pramukh Swami Maharaj understood and he took care of people's physical needs. He believed that in order to serve God, one must first serve our fellow neighbors. He helped people when they are in need. Under BAPS Charities, the humanitarian arm of BAPS, he encouraged charitable activities to provide assistance for causes like humanitarian aid, health and wellness, education, environmental sustainability, community empowerment. The organization's first walkathons to help the community were organized right here in Toronto, and now they have spread throughout North America to reach every corner of Canada and also the United States. These walkathons have helped organizations such as the William Osler Foundation, the Sick Kids Foundation, the Princess Margaret Cancer Center, and many, many others. Annual health fairs have provided health screening to thousands of Canadians. When COVID gripped the entire world, BAPS Charities in Canada was there to serve. Thousands of pieces of PPE, thousands and thousands of meals and packages were delivered to people in need. Food drives in 14 cities across Canada. 21,000 vaccinations were administered right here on this Mandir campus. Virtual seminars to engage people in activities such as exercise and yoga and meditation. That is what Pramukh Swami Maharaj believed in, to help others in times of need. But he didn't just believe in the age-old Hindu prayer that says, Sarvetra Sukhinaha Santu. May all be happy. He didn't just believe in it, he actually acted to bring that happiness to others. He reminded others that in the joy of others lies our own. A powerful statement that encourages selflessness, a trait that is so important in today's competitive world. But Pramukh Swami Maharaj went further than just physical needs. He knew that people had social needs, and so he took care of social needs of people. He believed that a harmonious family forms the background of a healthy society, an idea that resonates deeply with Canadian beliefs of importance of family bonds and community. He was the visionary behind the family satsang seminars and sabhas, home-based gatherings of family members to encourage regular, constructive family interactions and spiritual discussions. Thousands of Canadians have been bettered and made their families stronger and happier as a result of these gatherings at home. Pramukh Swami Maharaj didn't just make families stronger. He actually turned groups of individuals into not just communities, but into families. When a man by the name of Ramesh was facing challenges in setting up his new business, Pramukh Swami Maharaj asked a total stranger to Ramesh, a man by the name of Deepak Bhai, to help Ramesh and to guide him. Deepak helped him without any kind of hesitation, and Ramesh survived through very tough times. A new family was formed. When Winston, a retired firefighter, fire inspector, who is probably here in the audience today, when he found this mandir, he said that he found a second home. And he said that on the day that I don't go to the temple, I feel empty. Pramukh Swami Maharaj took care of people's social needs, but even more importantly, he took care of people's emotional needs. When he first visited Canada in 1974, and then in each of his visits, a total of 13 visits to Canada, each time he traveled tirelessly to meet people one-on-one. He traveled thousands of kilometers by car, not to preach, but to meet people at their homes, guiding them, consoling them, inspiring them to live better, more pious lives. When Arun, had a bypass operation and had difficulties. Pramukh Swami Maharaj was there to console him, to help him, to bless him, and to pray for him. When Prakash, a youth, he didn't know the meaning of a word in Gujarati, Pramukh Swami Maharaj was there to teach him the words in the language of Gujarati. When Mitesh, a very successful and dedicated cardiac surgeon now, when he was a teenager, Pramukh Swami Maharaj was there to guide him and to teach him how to help others and help others selflessly. That's a value that he never forgot, and he still remembers it and applies it in today in his life. Pramukh Swami Maharaj took care of people's social and emotional needs, but most importantly, Pramukh Swami Maharaj also took care of people's spiritual needs. He saw that Hindus emigrated to Canada, they will need a place to worship, a place to congregate, a place to call home away from home. So in 1991, Pramukh Swami Maharaj established a small temple not far from here on Brockport Drive. But he even envisioned something bigger, something larger, a large stone hand-carved Hindu mandir, the first of its kind in Canada. Not just a beacon of spiritual living, but a beautiful emblem of the Hindu faith embedded in the multicultural fabric of Canada. But those were a small group of people at that time trying to build a mandir, a temple. They had feeble resources, but Pramukh Swami Maharaj gave them strength. He brought out the best in people. When devotees envisioned a simple 10,000 square foot mandir, Pramukh Swami Maharaj dreamed bigger. He gave them higher levels of challenges. In each step, Pramukh Swami Maharaj took interest in building the temple. He even made arrangements for the stonework to be done in India. Everyone had given hope. Budget was tight. Times were challenging. But Pramukh Swami Maharaj continually aimed higher and higher. And today, all of us are happy and proud to have in the heart of Toronto the BAPS Swaminarayan Mandir as an architectural marvel made completely out of hand-carved stone. It is a place where we all congregate and pray together. But this mandir is not just a place of worship that Pramukh Swami Maharaj made. It is a place of community. When Harsh, a teenager in 7th grade, learned that his mother was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, he felt alone. But he knew he had a mandir community. And so after his mother passed away, he said that I had now not just a family of 4, but I now have a family of 4,000. Pramukh Swami Maharaj built this mandir not just a place of community. This place is actually a place of transformation. George Papadopoulos, one of the architects who helped build this mandir, he used to drink a lot. He used to smoke a lot. He used to gamble a lot. And he had very toxic friends. He also was very happy to hunt for animals. But then Pramukh Swami Maharaj entered into his life, and he eventually gave up all of those things. And today he said that even if he sees an animal in need, he now takes care of even animals. He said that, why did I transform myself? How did it happen? He said, when I met Pramukh Swami Maharaj, that is when my transformation happened. And it gave me the power to be good. I'm happy because of it. He changed me to a person that has no needs. I feel totally content. That is the level of transformation that Pramukh Swami Maharaj inspired. That was the gift that Pramukh Swami Maharaj gave to people. The mandir is not just a place of silent prayer where people pray. This mandir is a place of inner transformation. So Pramukh Swami Maharaj was the foundation that has helped us build a very happy and harmonious community that we see here today. Bob Kaplan, the former Solicitor General of Canada, once said to Pramukh Swami Maharaj, he said that if the whole world took your example, there would be a world that would be free of crime, free of war, and free of self-destruction. That is the kind of society. Pramukh Swami Maharaj, he told him, Bob Kaplan told Pramukh Swami Maharaj that you have valid answers for life's toughest questions. And so in conclusion, I'd like to say that Canada is famous for many, many things. It is famous for its politeness. It's famous for its multiculturalism. It's famous for its maple syrup and Niagara Falls. But now Canada is also famous for this beautiful mandir that we see in the heart of Toronto, a multi-generational gift to all of Canada and all of humanity. Thank you, Pramukh Swami Maharaj.
1970s were a transformative era for Canada, a time of social change and exploration. As the nation embraced diversity, individuals sought deeper meaning, spirituality, and values to guide their lives. It was against this backdrop that Pramukh Swami Maharaj, a revered spiritual leader, arrived in Canada to inspire spirituality and promote timeless Hindu values throughout our country. Amidst the breathtaking beauty of Niagara Falls, Pramukh Swami Maharaj first visited Canada in 1974. Here, he prayed for the happiness and peace of all Canadians and ignited a flame of spirituality that would forever transform lives. His visit marked a turning point as he shared his wisdom and teachings with individuals eager to find spiritual guidance and values. In the years and decades after that historic first visit, Pramukh Swami Maharaj continued to make his mark on Canada. Firstly, he inspired a spiritual renaissance in aspirants across our country. He guided individuals onto the path of spirituality in a relatable, meaningful way. His teachings transcended cultural and religious boundaries, resonating with Canadians seeking a deeper spiritual connection. To make spirituality real, he inspired the creation of mandirs in Canada, where traditions, culture, values could be felt, preserved, and passed from generation to generation. These mandirs, including the magnificent hand-carved stone and marble BAPS Sri Swaminarayan Mandir in Toronto, are spread across the country and serve as vibrant centers of cultural celebration, spiritual growth, and community hubs. They are places where families and communities come together and people of all ages are taught timeless traditions, values, language, and the arts. Living by the motto of "In the joy of others lies our own," Pramukh Swami Maharaj also inspired countless social and environmental initiatives to serve the communities around us. Whether it be walkathons to raise funds for esteemed organizations like the Sick Kids Foundation, William Osler Health System Foundation, Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation, the CNIB, or conducting health fairs, blood donation, stem cell registry drives, vaccine clinics, and so much more, it was clear that his compassion knew no bounds. Even in times of humanitarian crisis, such as the Fort McMurray wildfires, Pramukh Swami Maharaj was always there, inspiring activities to provide immediate relief to those in need and bring hope to the lives of the vulnerable. His impact on communities has forever changed the fabric of our society. It is for this reason that he was recognized by the Canadian Parliament in 1988 and given the key to the city of Toronto in 2000. Moreover, in 2022, on his 100th birth anniversary, the majestic Niagara Falls were lit up in his honor, forever memorializing the way he lit up the lives of countless people. Today, we reflect on the remarkable journey of Pramukh Swami Maharaj's impact on and in Canada, celebrating 50 years of legacy and impact that continues to shine brightly in the hearts of countless individuals in Canada. Much like Canada itself, Pramukh Swami Maharaj was as dynamic as the Northern Lights. He had a mind as stable and calm as the lake waters, and a heart as big and as clear as a blue sky. Thank you, Pramukh Swami Maharaj, for bettering the lives of countless Canadians through inspiring community service over the past 5 decades.
As we just heard, Pramukh Swami Maharaj laid the foundation for BAPS 50 years ago. What began during my parents' time as a small group of immigrants with a common purpose, settling in Canada while holding firm their traditions and values from back home, has become a spiritual, volunteer-driven community organization living the Hindu ideals of honesty, humility, respect, and unity through selfless service. My family has 3 generations in Canada, personally witnessed and experienced the love Pramukh Swami Maharaj has showered on us firsthand. And today, I'd like to share some of those experiences. In the late 1970s and early 80s, resources were scarce, and naturally, there were no mandirs and no centers of activity. I remember my father taking our family to a local devotee's home where Pramukh Swami Maharaj was staying. Walking in, I distinctly remember the buzz of activity. In an overflowing living room, Pramukh Swami Maharaj casually sat, laughing, smiling, and making connections. He met with everyone, one-on-one, listening to their problems of becoming financially independent, problems securing a job, immigration challenges, even raising kids like my brother and myself amongst all of these difficulties. He listened like a parent listens to their child, providing guidance mixed with love. And when he couldn't meet his devotees one-on-one, he had a phone to his ear and a pen in his hand. He made countless phone calls, written countless letters to each and every devotee with the same intention and care. The truth of the matter is, though, through every conversation, through every phone call, through every letter, it was us that connected with him. This was my first memory of BAPS as a community, all anchored and connected on the love Pramukh Swami Maharaj shared with his devotees. As time passed, Pramukh Swami Maharaj inspired the group to establish a mandir. In 1990, tucked away in a small industrial corner of Etobicoke, the first BAPS mandir in Canada opened, despite its scarce resources and lack of funding. Though it was small, this really felt like home. It became a place for young Indo-Canadians like myself, and this is the place we wanted to be. Growing up, my friends and I participated in youth activities covering art, language, culture, personal development. We even developed soft skills like public speaking, time management, project management, and leadership. All the while, Pramukh Swami Maharaj continued his tireless visits, phone calls, and letters. Over the course of my lifetime, Pramukh Swami Maharaj penned a letter 18 times and connected with me countless times beyond that. But I wasn't alone. He connected with all of us. He wanted to make sure that we studied hard. He wanted to make sure that we balanced our lives. He wanted to make sure that we made the right decisions. He provided guidance in a time where we felt confused or alone. Throughout these connections, he reminded all of us as well to serve others as if they had God within, and treat everyone, including the environment, with the utmost respect. And in this capacity, we too served our community. And as the Indo-Canadian population grew and spread from coast to coast, Pramukh Swami Maharaj's vision naturally expanded. BAPS today consists of 10 thriving mandirs, 6 major family centers across 7 provinces, a network serving their communities in the same way Pramukh Swami Maharaj served, putting the needs of others first. He believed that true joy lies in the joy of others. This is the pillar of BAPS activities: selfless community service, loving and respecting all. Over 50 years through this network of centers, BAPS's commitment to serving the community has been unwavering. I'd like to share 2 of the many activities that I've been a part of that embody the spirit of BAPS Canada. In 1996, BAPS Canada initiated the walkathon. I was 16 years old at the time. I remember volunteering in as many departments as possible, from working with the city to get permits, to obtaining sponsors for the walk, to filling water at water stations. In its first year, we had but a humble 200 participants, and that included the volunteers. Fast forward today, the walk is now organized in 13 cities across the country, with over 25 million steps logged by its participants. And it continues to grow every year. But that's not the headline. The annual walk has become a powerful community event that helps raise funds for esteemed organizations that we all know. Sick Kids Foundation, the William Osler Health System Foundation, Princess Margaret's Cancer Center Foundation, the CNIB. All of these foundations continue to benefit from one vision that Pramukh Swami Maharaj had in 1974. Another example I'd like to share with you, which was a little bit more recent during the pandemic. While human interactions were minimized, PPE was scarce, and while procuring basic provisions was challenging, BAPS stepped up and mobilized over 2,000 volunteers to support the most vulnerable as well as our first responders. At the time, I was part of the planning committee. I can say we proudly coordinated the distribution of PPE across 43 cities in Canada. Not only that, we opened our doors and hosted a vaccine clinic right here on this property, supported by our volunteers. And finally, we mobilized local members to coordinate the donation of food directly to those in need, as well as our local food banks. I recall hearing many tearful thank yous, receiving messages of joy from those that benefited, seeing the eyes smile behind the masks, the overall appreciation that was felt from those who benefited. They needed the help, and we were there. These are just but 2 events or programs I'm highlighting. There are many more. Our volunteers, my friends, and our community gives our time and commitment behind many such programs. We conduct health fairs. We have health awareness lectures, stem cell registry for our community. We hold career fairs for new immigrants. We donate food. We plant trees. The list goes on and on. Wherever there is a need, BAPS is there, because in the joy of others lies our own. Today, 50 years into this journey, my kids are now proud Hindus growing up in Canada, learning the same timeless values I did through the activities offered by BAPS. This is the legacy of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. They are the legacy of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. And now, under the loving guidance of His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj, our kids serve the community with the same mindset of putting others first, with humility and respect. As we reflect on the BAPS 50-year journey, let us be inspired by its core values of unity, respect, and love for all. As Pramukh Swami Maharaj envisioned, and as Mahant Swami Maharaj inspires today, let us continue to serve a country where love and compassion prevail together.
We saw how Pramukh Swami Maharaj laid a foundation of timeless values and activities that will forever motivate generations to come. But supporting this journey and all the activities that Prakash mentioned are dedicated individuals who selflessly devote their time and energy to serve others. These individuals are none other than the volunteers of BAPS who embody the spirit of selfless service and are inspired by His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj and His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj each and every day. So let's learn more about these volunteers, who they are, what they do, how they've given back, and the impact that they've had on communities across our country. In 2007, His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj gifted the people of Canada with the magnificent BAPS Sri Swaminarayan Mandir in Toronto. In addition to supporting our spiritual growth and development, the Mandir has taught us how we can collectively engage in the service of our community, country, and the world. The Mandir has taught us that the power to build better communities lies in the very members of those communities. Since its opening, the Mandir has inspired community engagement in various areas. Community empowerment. The Mandir has hosted various activities that have engaged communities across Canada to give back to society and inspire the next generation.
This organization, BAPS, and the Swaminarayan complex around here is one of the pride and joys of our community here in Canada.
A stronger community, a collective community. This kind of events are very essential to bring women together for community development.
I want to commend you on the mission of your temple, the Mandir, which is really to promote harmony and respect for all cultures in Canadian society. And I look forward to continuing to visit you here at this beautiful, beautiful place and watch you grow.
I'm pleased to send a message of heartfelt gratitude for everything that BAPS charities have done for us as a friend and a community partner for so long, including most recently a very generous $100,000 financial investment in our hospitals. In addition to the desperately needed funds, I reflect on all the other ways in which you walk beside us. I think of a large group of youth volunteers in 2019 who left a conference at BAPS and dropped by Etobicoke General to write messages of hope and support for our families and patients.
Thank you from those of us at the Cancer Center, but more importantly, for the 19,000 cancer patients and their families who come through our hospital doors every year. Truly, without your support, they would not get the care and the research that they do get there. Really know how much your support is appreciated. So what you do here is critical. It is truly critical.
I gotta tell you, this has to be the largest by far attendance. So I want to thank all of you for coming out. I want to thank our children, our seniors, and everyone that's here. And I embrace what you're doing. I love what you're doing, and I'm there for you. I want you to know that.
Educational services. A variety of seminars and programs hosted by BAPS have supported the continued education of youth. These forums have equipped youth with relevant educational and career development advice that enables both personal and professional development. Health and wellness awareness. The Mandir has created awareness about healthy living amongst Canadians to build better mental and physical health habits. Environmental initiatives. Through partnerships with different organizations, the mandir has inspired a spirit of service and commitment to the preservation of the environment.
Thank you for the work of BAPS Charities. Thank you for walking to plant trees and help our planet.
Humanitarian relief. When the COVID-19 pandemic struck our country, the mandir engaged volunteers across Canada to organize immediate support for families and communities across our country.
Through your efforts, you have donated over 13,000 face masks to local hospitals. You are doing great work to support our frontline workers as they provide essential services to your fellow Canadians.
Being true examples of the Ontario spirit and for organizing this food drive to help Canadians who are struggling. It is by working together and supporting one another that we will come out of this pandemic stronger than before. I'm incredibly proud that the BAPS Mandir community is centered in my riding of Etobicoke North.
BAPS Shri Swaminarayan Mandirs across Canada facilitate activities to support personal and family development for happier and healthier living. Today, His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj continues this legacy of gifting mandirs which enables social and spiritual progress across this nation.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this special panel discussion. Before we jump into some really interesting topics, I want to introduce the people who are joining us here on stage today. We have with us Manish Vaid, who's the Regional Activity Coordinator for BAPS activities in Western and Central Canada. Welcome. Gunjan Mehta is joining us from Edmonton, the BAPS activities coordinator for that area. Welcome, Gunjan. Fenno Patel is the BAPS Cultural Activity Coordinator in Toronto. Thank you. Soro Patel is the BAPS Youth Activities Coordinator in Toronto. And Nishan Patel joins us from Calgary as the BAPS Activities Coordinator. Thanks for coming out. So we have representation from pretty well across the country. And we thank you all for coming out and joining us for this presentation. These are our volunteer leaders over here. My name is Nilesh Mehta, and I'm going to be moderating this panel. So let's delve right into it. As we speak, in the world today, there are more than 10 million nonprofit organizations spanning the globe offering volunteer services to the needy. They strive to mobilize financial and human resources to ensure that aid is delivered in a timely and effective manner. As we've seen in the program today, for more than a half a century, BAPS Canada has been tirelessly serving communities across Canada. One of the key strengths of BAPS is a grassroots approach, making direct connections with communities all across the country. As described by Prakash Patel in the previous segment just now, BAPS carries out numerous activities across the country, numerous projects. What drives success for BAPS is a spirit of volunteerism, and we see that thriving across the country. And all the volunteers we meet, they have something about them that makes them different. And whether you're in PEI or across all the way to British Columbia, when you meet BAPS volunteers, there's something unique about them. So in today's panel discussion, our panelists will share their thoughts as leaders of volunteers all across the country about the spirit of BAPS volunteerism, how it's unique, how it's nurtured, and how it affects society at large. So, Manish, તમારાથી શરૂઆત કરીશ. તમે BAPSના ઘણી બધી ડિઝાસ્ટર રિલીફ એક્ટિવિટીઝમાં જોડાયેલા છો, તમે બધું જોયેલું છે પણ છે. તો તમને BAPS વોલન્ટિયરિઝમ કઈ દ્રષ્ટિથી યુનિક લાગે છે?
આમ જોવા જઈએ તો વોલન્ટિયર ઓર્ગેનાઇઝેશનમાં ખાસ કરીને ડિઝાસ્ટર રિલીફ પ્રોજેક્ટ્સની અંદર વોલન્ટિયરનું ડિસ્ક્રિપ્શન લગભગ કોમન જેવું જ હોય છે. પણ એઝ ઇટ સેઝ ડિઝાસ્ટર રિલીફ, એટલે કે ડિફિકલ્ટ સિચ્યુએશન્સમાં તમારે કામ કરવું અથવા તો વેરી શોર્ટ નોટિસમાં બધું મોબિલાઇઝ કરવું. BAPS એક્ટિવિટી અથવા તો BAPS ચેરિટીઝના વોલેન્ટિયર્સ હાઉ દે આર ડિફરન્ટ એન્ડ યુનિક. તો BAPSના વોલેન્ટિયર્સ એટલા માટે આ સર્વિસીસ નથી આપતા કે એમની પાસે ફ્રી ટાઈમ છે, એમની પાસે નવરા છે, અથવા તો પછી જસ્ટ ફોર અ ફન. They genuinely consider this activity as priority.
Actually, Manish, sometimes it goes beyond making it highest priority.
True.
2016ના ફોર્ટ મેકમરીમાં વાઇલ્ડ ફાયર ડિઝાસ્ટર આવ્યું હતું અને એ વખતે ત્યાંની ગવર્મેન્ટે ત્યાંના દરેક લોકો માટે મેન્ડેટરી ઇવેક્યુએશનનો ઓર્ડર આપ્યો હતો. યાદ છે ને મનીષ?
વેરી ટ્રુ.
અને એ વખતે આપણી BAPS સંસ્થાએ એ અસરગ્રસ્તો માટે શેલ્ટર અને ફૂડ તે આયોજન નક્કી કર્યું હતું. તે વખતે એડમિન્ટનમાં જુદા જુદા ઇવેક્યુએટેડ ફેમિલીઝ આવી રહ્યા હતા. હવે આ બધા ફેમિલી એક સાથે આવી રહ્યા હતા અને એ ફેમિલી આવી રહ્યા હતા સાથે સાથે આપણે ફૂડનું એટલે કહેતા કે હોટ મિલનું આયોજન કર્યું હતું. હવે હોટ મિલનું આયોજન તો કર્યું પરંતુ કેટલા માણસનું બનાવવું, એ લોકોની ગ્રોસરી ક્યાંથી લાવી, એ ગ્રોસરી કોણ લાવશે, ક્યાં બનાવશે, કેવી રીતે બનાવશે, આ બધું કશું જ વિચારવાનો સમય હતો નહીં. પરંતુ એ વખતે એડમિન્ટનના ફિમેલ વોલેન્ટિયર્સ એ ભેગા થાય છે અને પોતાના ઘરની ગ્રોસરી તે વાપરી અને ત્યાં બધા માટે એ ફૂડ અને મિલ બનાવે છે અને તેમાં ડિસ્ટ્રીબ્યુટ કરે છે. ખરેખર ધીસ લેવલ ઓફ કમિટમેન્ટ really makes BAPS volunteer services unique.
Amazing.
કમિટમેન્ટની તો શું વાત કરું ગુંજન. BAPSના વોલેન્ટિયર્સ હોય ગમે તેવી વિકટ પરિસ્થિતિમાં કાર્યને સારી રીતે પાર પાડે જ. આપણને બધાને ખબર છે થોડા વર્ષો પહેલાં અહીં ટોરન્ટોમાં પાવર આઉટેજ આવેલું, ઘણા દિવસ સુધી એ ચાલેલું. પછી બહાર તો જોવા જઈએ તો ઘણો બધો કેઓસ હતો અને કેઓસમાં ખાસ કરીને પબ્લિક ટ્રાન્સપોર્ટેશન બંધ, ગેસ સ્ટેશન્સ બંધ, સુપરમાર્કેટ્સ બંધ. અરે માણસને ગ્રોસરી લાવી હોય તો જાય ક્યાં? ઘરે જાય તો બિલ્ડિંગમાં એલિવેટર બંધ, ઘરમાં જાય તો કુકિંગ સ્ટવ ન ચાલે. કાલે શું ખાવું ને એ ઘણો મોટો પ્રશ્ન હતો. અરે હાઈ રાઇસમાં રહેતા લોકો માટે તો ખરેખર એવી પરિસ્થિતિ થયેલી, એ ભગવાન આમાંથી બચાવે તો સારું, એ પરિસ્થિતિ આવી ગયેલી. એ સંજોગોમાં BAPSના વોલેન્ટિયર્સે નક્કી કર્યું કે બધાને હોટ મિલ્સ પ્રોવાઈડ કરવું. હવે નક્કી તો થઈ ગયું પણ આ બધું પાર પાડવું કઈ રીતે? તો ટોરન્ટો અને સ્કાર્બોરોના વોલેન્ટિયર્સે નક્કી કરી અને કિચન શરૂ કર્યા. This was the amazing plan.
It was an amazing plan, but it was amazing just on paper.
That is very true. It was amazing plan just on piece of paper. આ બધાને હોટ મિલ્સ પ્રોવાઈડ કરવું, પણ કઈ રીતે પ્રોવાઈડ કરવું? કારણ કે આ તો હાઈ રાઇઝ છે ભાઈ, 10 માળ, 15 માળ, 25 માળ સુધી પણ હોય. એમાંય ખાસ કરીને વૃદ્ધો હોય, બીમાર હોય, અશક્ત લોકો હોય, બાળકો હોય, એના માટે આટલા બધા દાદરા ચડવા ઉતરવા એ કંઈ સહેલી બાબત તો નથી. પણ BAPS વોલેન્ટિયર્સે એ વખતે નક્કી કર્યું કે આપણે ટીમ પાડીએ, ફ્લોર વાઇઝ બધું મેનેજમેન્ટ કર્યું અને દરેક ફ્લોર ઉપર ફૂડ પ્રોવાઈડ કર્યું. એમાં ખાસ કરીને જોવા જઈએ તો એ ભારતીય હોય કે બિન ભારતીય હોય, એ જોયા વગર દરેકને ઘણા દિવસો સુધી એ ફૂડ પ્રોવાઈડ કરેલું. રિયલી heads off to BAPS volunteers for their commitment and determination.
Wow.
I totally agree with your comment on the commitment aspect of our volunteers. In fact, I had the personal privilege of experiencing that commitment. And in fact, I can guarantee that many of us sitting here in this audience also had that experience, especially during the COVID times. It was back in 2021 where the situation was very grim. A lot of chaos, uncertainty, anxiety, stress. People didn't know what was happening due to COVID. People literally thought they perhaps might die because if they catch COVID. So in the midst of this chaos, the BAPS volunteers really stepped up. And it was the volunteers of all ages. For example, our senior volunteers, the vulnerable sector, they decided that because they cannot go out themselves, they stayed home and made the masks. The youth volunteers decided that they will pack these masks in a care packages, the hygiene packages, and they will deliver it. And those that were able, those who were willing to organize and logistically plan a COVID vaccine drive, we decided to do a vaccine drive here in the BAPS Swaminarayan Mandir in Toronto, where we delivered thousands of COVID vaccines to people of not just Toronto, but all over the place who wanted to get those vaccines. Keep in mind, these uncertain times, people knew the risk associated with it, because who knows, they could also be infected. But they showed their commitment to the service and decided to help everybody that needed the help.
Amazing commitment from the volunteers, right? So this makes us even more curious, right? What's the thought process that drives this commitment? How are they so committed, and why are they so excited to help?
Well, this sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Surprisingly, the thought process is quite simple. It's an act of devotion for them. When they're serving to communities and individuals, in their mind, they think and they feel that they are serving Bhagwan. આપણે ગુજરાતીમાં કહીએ છીએ ને કે જન સેવા એ પ્રભુ સેવા. That pinch of spirituality makes a world of a difference into their thought process. And it completely changes their behavior, their commitment, their willingness to do whatever it takes to get the task done that they're assigned.
You know, I would also like to add that all of these volunteers, they're all normal people like you and I.
Absolutely.
They are working professionals. Many of them have young families, and they also face same day-to-day challenges as we face. However, you know what the most amazing thing is?
Yes.
Against all the odds, when there is need, they always somehow manage to rise up to the occasion and deliver incredible results.
This is exactly our question. How does it work every time? How can you get dedicated volunteers every time? So do you guys have special training? Do you have seminars and conferences? Is there some kind of secret, like, you know, that we don't know about? How do you get people to be committed and excited? And what kind of value system do these volunteers have? Tell us more about it, Nishan.
Yeah, well, to be honest, seminars, conferences, orientations, it's just not enough to have such motivation. You really need a lifestyle change.
And speaking of lifestyle change, BAPS volunteers have a solid nurturing of a thought process where they learn and where they feel that they want to give something back without any expectations. Now, this act of selflessness automatically converts their tasks into bhakti, into their devotion. And not to mention that BAPS has multiple mandirs and places of worship and activity centers across the country. BAPS can contract the construction of these activity centers and take the possession once the construction is completed. Instead, volunteers, young and old, get together and help build these places of worship. Like they lovingly say, it's the labor of love, with just one thought in mind, that they want to give back to their community.
Amazing.
BAPS also organizes many family activities where they encourage families to help each other out. And again, that there's another important nurturing of a very important thought process where what can I give back to my own family?
Charity begins at home, right?
And right. Fanil, there is another dimension to this as well. દર વર્ષે BAPSમાં કેનેડા ખાતે વોકેથોન પ્રોજેક્ટનું આયોજન થાય છે. ફેનિલ, જેમ આપણે બે એકબીજાને ઓળખીએ છીએ તો આપણે બે એકબીજાની મદદ કરીએ.
100%.
પણ શું આપણે એવાની મદદ કરીએ છીએ કે જેને આપણે ક્યારેય ઓળખતા નથી અથવા તો ક્યારેય એનો પરિચયને પામવાના નથી કે એને ઓળખવાના છીએ જ નહીં? BAPSનો વોકેથોન એક એવો પ્રોજેક્ટ છે કે જેની અંદર અજાણ્યા બેનિફિશરીઝ માટે આપણે વોક કરીએ છીએ, ફંડરેઝ કરીએ છીએ, ઇવેન્ટનું આયોજન કરીએ છીએ, સિટીમાંથી પરમિશન લઈએ છીએ અને ઘણું બધું કરીએ છીએ. અને આ બધું જ આપણે આનંદ અને ઉત્સાહથી કરીએ છીએ. અને આ વોકેથોન પ્રોજેક્ટમાં નાના નાના બાળકો પણ એ જ આનંદ અને ઉત્સાહથી તેમાં જોડાતા હોય છે. નાનપણથી એ શીખાય છે કે it is very important to give back to others without any expectation. એ others family members પણ હોય, friends પણ હોય કે stranger પણ હોઈ શકે.
That is so true. To be honest, I still remember few years back when the children here decided to give a surprise gift to the sick kids hospital at the sick kids hospital, and they all collectively came together and delivered a truck full of toys to the sick kids. You know what? These projects really cultivate a positive mindset and transforms the entire generation to give back to the community in a selfless manner. And then it is that this thought process that they have in their mind when they're at work or when they're doing any community projects.
Well, there we have it. We've learned it from the volunteer leaders themselves from across Canada. What makes BAPS volunteers unique, what makes them from ordinary to extraordinary is really the way they think. When they do their volunteer work, they think of it as devotion. And secondly, they feel that they're making it to earn Bhagwan's grace. And the third thing is that when they're helping other people, they feel they want to do it selflessly. They're not expecting anything back in return. And I think that gives them that extra energy, that extra enthusiasm to go above and beyond. I would say no one is perfect, but this spirit of volunteerism is what makes BAPS volunteers unique. So thank you very much to our panelists for joining us from across Canada, sharing your stories. These are the people that are there out in the field, and these are the real stories that you shared with us. So thank you. Now let's watch a video introducing the inspirer of all of these volunteers, His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj. Thank you again.
Thank you.
His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj is one of the most respected Hindu leaders in the world today. He is the spiritual successor of Pramukh Swami Maharaj and the sixth Guru in the divine lineage of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. As the present leader of the global Hindu fellowship called BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha, he serves as the spiritual guide of countless devotees and leads its worldwide social, humanitarian, and spiritual activities. Today, he advances the legacy of Pramukh Swami Maharaj by nourishing over 1,500 temples, as well as hundreds of other educational, medical, and cultural facilities. Since becoming the Guru in 2016 at the age of 83, he has led the construction of over 350 temples, ordained more than 300 youths, and established 13 academic research institutes around the world. Despite his advanced age, he is tirelessly leading the creation of more than 16 other traditional temple complexes in various parts of the world. Through daily meetings, phone calls, and site visits, he consistently inspires and guides the selfless endeavors that benefit humanity. Compassion and spiritual wisdom lie at the heart of everything he does, from mobilizing volunteers to respond to the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine to the worldwide relief efforts during the COVID-19 pandemic. He is a living example of humility, selfless service, and unconditional love. Despite leading an international organization, he is ultimately the people's guru, a guru who shares a sacred connection with each person he meets. He also devotes considerable time every day to reach out to people through letters and messages providing counsel, solace, and inspiration. He exudes a spiritual love so selfless, so pure, it has touched countless hearts, transcending barriers of race, rank, and religion. Over the course of 5 decades, he has traveled extensively, visiting homes and huts in cities and villages around the world, helping individuals find strength, address problems, and dive deeply into spirituality. With unwavering joy and a humble silence, he remains resolute in the service of God and humanity. Mahant Swami Maharaj's teachings on harmony, morality, spirituality, and positivity have enlightened millions. He makes profound principles accessible and enjoyable. His creations, love, and teachings ultimately emanate from his inner virtues and personal spirituality. He is a guru who commences his day at 3:45 a.m. with prayers for every country in the world. He turns his rosary each night to reinforce the prayers of others. His purity, austerity, and humility are hallmarks of his service to ordinary individuals. Mahant Swami Maharaj epitomizes the values of a true guru, endearing him to millions across the world. As many have experienced, meeting him leaves one filled with peace, love, joy, and inspiration.
That their motivation behind their service stems from something far deeper than personal gain and recognition. They motivate and give of themselves day in and day out because of one person and one individual. So to learn more about the motivations behind BAPS's volunteers, let's request Swami Gnanvatsal Das, an esteemed Swami of BAPS who himself is a motivational speaker, to share a few words.
With prostrations at the divine feet of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, my Guru Hari Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and my Pragat Guru Hari Parampuja Mahant Swami Maharaj, my heartiest namaskar and good evening to all the respected elected representatives of the country of Canada and all the respected guests today in the assembly and the BAPS family and well-wishers. The source of inspiration in all the activities of BAPS, the source of inspiration for each and every volunteer of BAPS has always been the great principles of Sanatan Dharma, has always been the great scriptures of Sanatan Dharma, has always been the teachings of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, and has always been the ideal life of service that we see in the life of Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Mahant Swami Maharaj. See, we all know that in this vast creation by God, human beings are placed at the top of the animal kingdom. The reason being, God has gifted human beings with the power to think, the power to collect information, to process that information into knowledge, and ultimately process this knowledge into wisdom. What is that wisdom? That wisdom, in simpler words, was put forward by His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj, which became his life motto, that in the joy of others lies our own. In the progress of others rests our own. This is the principle on which the volunteerism, the spirit of it, is awakened, is shining bright in the hearts and minds of all the BAPS volunteers, nationally and internationally. BAPS carries out more than 162 different kinds of social, cultural, educational, medical, environmental activities throughout the world, and has been honored with international accolades, awards, time and again, because the BAPS volunteers, as we saw in the panel discussion, they serve selflessly for the betterment of the individual and societies. So what exactly the life of Pramukh Swami Maharaj and our present Guru Hari Mahant Swami Maharaj has taught us when it comes to selfless service, when it comes to serving societies and communities at large. Let me put forward a statement with full affirmation that selfless service is so natural for a BAPS volunteer as is breathing for him. As naturally we breathe oxygen, selfless service is so natural for a BAPS volunteer because it lies in the DNA and the genes of a BAPS volunteer. And how it came into it. Years back, probably 73 years back in the year 1950 on 21st May, when His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj was nominated as the president of this organization. That was 21st May. At that time, we didn't have in this society the catering services and everything. Pramukh Swami Maharaj, on the day when he became the president of this organization at the age of 28, he himself cleaned the utensils of all the guests who had come to attend the ceremony. This is perhaps the one and only incident, only happening upon this planet, that somebody who has been nominated as the president of the organization, and he cleans the utensils of the guests who had dinner of that occasion. That has put volunteerism and selfless service in the DNA and the genes of every BAPS follower. Our Guru Hari Mahant Swami Maharaj, he has done the most humble services in his initial days as a saint, and today at the ripe old age of 90, he selflessly and tirelessly travels the length and breadth of the globe to inspire by his life, not just by his thoughts, by his words, for selfless service to society and communities. The statistics we saw in the video preceding this talk. So it is so natural for a BAPS volunteer to serve. Let me take you a few decades back. In the year 1991, the BAPS celebrated the Cultural Festival of India in America. At that time, we had 2,600 volunteers full-time. As one of our guests, we had Mr. Jack Led, who was then the attorney of the government of Texas. When he heard the stories of the volunteers, when he personally met the volunteers, he was so fascinated, so impressed by the time, by the energy, by the resources that the BAPS volunteers were putting inside to carry out this 30-day festival, to better the relations culturally, to know each other culturally well, the two countries, United States and India. That from the dais, in his felicitation speech, he said that I am told that there are 2,600 volunteers here in the CFI. And pointing towards Pramukh Swami Maharaj, he said that I am being told that many of them have left aside their homes, their families, their jobs to selflessly serve here. He said that anybody who can inspire this kind of leadership is not only a wise person, not only a creative person, but a person who is divinely inspired to lead people. And that is why Pramukh Swami Maharaj was given a place in the 20 most influential personalities upon this earth by the Guinness Book of World Records, that he has been influential in inspiring people for selfless services. So first aspect of inspiration from our gurus is volunteerism and selfless service is so natural like breathing. The second important aspect, we recognize the presence of His Excellency, the Premier of Ontario in our assembly, and we welcome him with a big hand. The second important aspect that Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Mahant Swami Maharaj is an inspiration to all the volunteers is that along with doing physical services, BAPS volunteers are trained to constantly check their emotions before the start of the services, during the services, and after the services. So the services remain pure. So the services remain selfless. And other emotions of maybe anger, of maybe tiredness, of maybe a sense of comparison with other volunteers or services does not creep in and make their services a bit impure. So they check their emotions because the Sanatan Dharma scriptures, they say, Seva Dharma Param Gahano, Yoginam Apyagamya. That is to selflessly serve the society. Lifetime is not an easy task. To take a pledge to be a volunteer lifetime, it carries a lot of inner decision making. It is said, Yoginam Apyagamya means even the spiritual masters, they find it difficult to have a lifetime pledge of selfless volunteerism. BAPS volunteers have a lifetime pledge of selfless volunteerism with the blessings and inspirations of His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj. So they check the emotions to make their services more pure. And how do they check it? Once Pramukh Swami Maharaj was asked in a letter that Swami, write, I would expect that you write your blessings in English. With the help of an attendant saint, Pramukh Swami Maharaj wrote, I bless you. Except the first letter I, all the letters were in English. I bless you. And somebody pointed him out that, Swamiji, the first letter after the full stop is always capital. Pramukh Swami Maharaj said that I know that the first letter after the full stop according to the English grammar is always capital. But remember that we should keep I always small so that we can selflessly serve the society. Ego doesn't overpower us. And when ego doesn't overpower us, jealousy, comparison, competitiveness in services doesn't creep in. And our services are always pure and selfless. Pramukh Swami Maharaj was once asked, which thought remains with you 24/7? He said that the thought that has never entered my mind, shall I tell you, and that was more interesting. Pramukh Swami Maharaj, the creator of more than 1,300 institutions of social service in a span of 45 years, and that too from the age of 51 to 95. That means every 15th day of his life, Pramukh Swami Maharaj gifted an institute of social service to the society. Unbelievable world record. He said that the thought of hurting anybody physically, mentally, or emotionally has never entered my mind. This purity, with his grace and inspirations, has remained in the DNA and the genes of BAPS volunteers. So the volunteerism, the selfless services are pure. Third aspect of BAPS volunteerism, as inspired by Mahant Swami Maharaj, is each and every volunteer with his grace has developed emotional intelligence. Now this emotional intelligence is that you understand, you recognize your own emotions. At the same time, you understand and recognize the emotions of the people around you. So when a BAPS volunteer is actually serving, he understands the emotions of his colleagues, he understands the emotions of the beneficiaries, so that he can serve better. And because of this understanding, he is able to cultivate a feeling. He is able to create an atmosphere that all the people with whom he is working with, all the volunteer colleagues and the beneficiaries, They feel that we are one family. They feel that we are together. They feel that we want to see happy faces of the beneficiaries together. This is the emotional intelligence, because Mahant Swami Maharaj, basically, he has an introspective personality and an introspective character. So he goes into the minutest details of purity when it comes to services and devotion. So BAPS volunteer takes services to communities as devotion towards God. And because of this, the first aspect being natural, the second being trying to take care of the emotions so that the services are more pure, because of emotional intelligence, taking care of the working colleagues and the beneficiaries. His Holiness Pragat Brahma Swarup Mahant Swami Maharaj with a loud round of applause. So the fourth aspect. Thank you very much.
We've witnessed the extraordinary power of volunteerism and the motivation behind the selfless contribution of dedicated individuals. With that in mind, it gives us great joy to welcome the inspirer of it all, BAPS, its activities, and its volunteers, His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj. He is the sixth and current spiritual leader of BAPS and tirelessly carries forward the vision and legacy of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. His life, words, and actions continues to guide and inspire countless individuals to lead lives rooted in spirituality, compassion, and service. Tonight, we also have the honor and privilege of welcoming esteemed stage guests who are also committed to serving society in various capacities. We're honored to welcome the distinguished presence of the Honorable Omar Al-Gabru, the Minister of Transport and the Member of Parliament for Mississauga Centre. We'd now like to request Swami Gnanpriya Das, a Senior Swami of BAPS, to welcome the Minister of Transport with a garland. Next, we'd like to welcome the Premier of Ontario, the Honourable Doug Ford, to our gathering today, being held in his home riding of Etobicoke North. We'd now like to request Swami Tyagvallabh Das, a Senior Swami of BAPS, to traditionally welcome the Premier with a garland. Finally, we'd like to welcome High Commissioner Sri Sanjay Kumar Verma, the High Commissioner of India to Canada. He will be traditionally welcomed with a garland from Swami Gnan Priya Das. Please join your hands once again as we welcome our esteemed stage guests, as well as those in the audience, to today's celebration through a traditional dance.
अंधेरा दूर हटा करके ज्ञान की ज्योत जलाता है, करुणा प्रेम मैत्री एकता सबको सिखाता है। कलिमल कलुष विनाशकम, कलिमल कलुष विनाशकम है मंदिर पावनी गंगा, है मंदिर पावनी गंगा। श्रद्धा भक्ति सुपोषकम, श्रद्धा भक्ति सुपोषकम। मंदिरम 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 स्वामी नारायण मंदिरम मंदिरम। ओ मंदिरम 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 स्वामी नारायण मंदिरम मंदिरम। प्रभु की और संतन की शरण में हमें बिठाता है, कटुता मन मुटाव मिटा कर संस्कृति मूल्य सिखाता है। शिशु और बाल युवाओं का, शिशु और बाल युवाओं का है मंदिर अस्मिता दाता, है मंदिर अस्मिता दाता। आत्मशक्ति संवर्धकम, आत्मशक्ति संवर्धकम। मंदिरम 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 स्वामी नारायण मंदिरम मंदिरम। मंदिरम 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 स्वामी नारायण मंदिरम मंदिरम। सभी देवों अवतारों और तीर्थ का वास मंदिर है, हमारी भारत माता का विश्व नजराना मंदिर है।
ओम राम कृष्ण शिव स्वामी नारायण हनुमान की जय, पूरी बद्री केदार रामेश्वर सकल तीर्थ की जय।
सभी देवों अवतारों और तीर्थ का वास मंदिर है, हमारी भारत माता का विश्व नजराना मंदिर है।
आसे तू हिमालय में सभी का है यही विश्राम,
हो आसे तू हिमालय में सभी का है यही विश्राम।
प्रमुख स्वामी का ये निर्माण महिमा छाई कण कण में, प्रमुख स्वामी का ये निर्माण महिमा छाई कण कण में।
करे जीवन को मंगल ये सभी से निर्भय हो जाए,
करे जीवन को मंगल ये सभी से निर्भय हो जाए।
आत्म मूर्ति के शिल्पी हो, प्राणों के स्थापक आप हो।
आत्म मूर्ति के शिल्पी हो, प्राणों के स्थापक आप हो।
शतम जियो प्रमुख स्वामी कोटि वंदन प्रमुख स्वामी,
शतम जियो प्रमुख स्वामी कोटि वंदन प्रमुख स्वामी।
जीव के जीवन आप हो, धारक हरि के आप हो। सुमिरन आपका जो करे, हर हमेशा उनके साथ हो।
शतम जियो प्रमुख स्वामी कोटि वंदन प्रमुख स्वामी, 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 कोटि वंदन प्रमुख स्वामी, कोटि वंदन प्रमुख स्वामी।
Thank you again to all of our guests for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have leaders among us, as their presence here today signifies their unwavering commitment to public service, working tirelessly to uplift communities, foster inclusivity, and create a brighter future for all. As we proceed with today's gathering, we will now join in the Aarti, a ritual symbolizing devotion and gratitude.
श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवान की जय। जय स्वामीनारायण, जय अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम, अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम, जय अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम। स्वामीनारायण भगवान की जय। अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम महाराज की जय।
स्वामी
गुणातीतानंद स्वामी महाराज की जय। राधा कृष्ण भगवान की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय।
स्वामी महाराज की जय। अक्षरधाम महोत्सवनी जय. In our journey of celebration and reflection today, we explored the foundation of BAPS in Canada, delving deeply into the life and work of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. We discovered how his profound influence helped inspire a legacy of volunteerism, service, and spiritual enrichment that has shaped the last 50 years of BAPS in Canada. We then saw how the BAPS community built from that foundation to host a wide range of activities, from spiritual programs to educational services to social and humanitarian endeavors. Finally, we learned what drives this organization: the unwavering dedication and selfless contributions of thousands of individuals who embody the spirit of service and are inspired by Mahant Swami Maharaj each and every day. Mahant Swami Maharaj, it's your values, ideals, and actions that inspire all of these volunteers to serve with compassion and love. As we commence the celebrations of 50 years of BAPS in Canada, let's also remember another momentous occasion today. Because today marks the commencement of the Festival of Inspirations for the Robbinsville, New Jersey Swaminarayan Akshardham, which will soon become a landmark of art, architecture, and culture. To mark this occasion, we're proud to have His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj inaugurate its social media channels, which will be available for us to all follow. Akshardham Mahotsavni Jai.
It is now our great pleasure to welcome to this podium Honorable Omar Al-Gabru, the Minister of Transport and the Member of Parliament for Mississauga Centre, to address the Assembly today and bring greetings from the Prime Minister of Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Omar Al-Gabru.
Good afternoon, friends. Premier Fort, High Commissioner. I'm here with several of my colleagues from the Liberal caucus. I also know that I am here with several elected officials from provincial, federal, and municipal level. It is truly an honor for me to be here with you today and His Holiness celebrating this important occasion. Before I read the statement from the Prime Minister, I just want to offer my warm greetings and appreciations to all of you for the work that you do every day. For you are all silent heroes. You go into your days serving your community, serving Canada, making this place a better place for all, and I'm truly grateful to all of you for what you do every day. I'm also grateful to the Mandir, to the administration of the Mandir, to the leadership of the Mandir. I had an opportunity earlier to learn about the work that you do here, about the teachings of peace, of harmony, of community service and devotion to your society. I am truly, and I had an honor, a blessed audience with His Holiness, where I received his blessings. I particularly asked him for his blessings to help with the airports, so I feel much better, and I am really honored to have had the opportunity to speak with him. I will now read the statement from the Prime Minister. Dear friends, I'm delighted to extend my warmest greetings and congratulations to everyone attending today's celebration marking the 50th anniversary of BAPS in Canada and the visit by His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj. Established in 1973, BAPS Canada is part of a global family of spiritual, volunteer-driven, faithful, dedicated to caring for societies, families, and individuals. This milestone provides an opportunity to reflect upon the history of the organization, to celebrate all of the good it has accomplished over the years, and to look to the future. Canada is truly a multicultural nation made stronger and more resilient by our diversity. I would like to commend the members of BAPS Canada for their dedication to improving the well-being of their fellow citizens by fostering the Hindu ideals of faith, unity, and selfless service. You can take pride in knowing that you are helping to build a better world for all of us. I'm certain that you will all rejoice in the many observances planned to mark this milestone. On behalf of the Government of Canada, I offer my best wishes for a memorable anniversary celebration and continued success. Sincerely signed, Justin Trudeau. Once again, thank you, and I wish you many blessed celebrations, and may you every year have celebrations full of good health, success, and peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Al Gabru. Next, we'd like to welcome the Honorable Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, to share a special scroll with Swami Tyagvallabhdas before coming to the podium to share a few words.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Sean, for that introduction. I'm thrilled to be back in BAPS Temple. I'll tell you, alongside my great ministers, and first of all, before I introduce my ministers and my colleagues, I want to welcome our federal ministers, federal colleagues, municipal colleagues. Thank you so much for coming to our hometown of Etobicoke. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Minister Lecce, Minister Tangri, Minister Ford, and MPPs Amarjot Sandhu, David Smith, Graham McGregor, Aris Babikian, Deepak Anand, Sharif Sabawe, Logan Kinapathy, and Rudy Cazzetto. Thank you for coming. As I've said many times when I've come here, I feel right at home. You welcome me, you open up your doors and welcome me part of the family, and I'm very, very grateful. Thank you. You've also welcomed myself, my brother Rob, and my dad, and thank you for that as well. I know they're looking down on us and they're very, very proud. And it's great to see so many familiar faces today. I want to acknowledge the High Commissioner. High Commissioner, it's great to see you once again. Our Consul General, Gonzaga, Swami, Charles, Yogesh, Narash, and Paraj, and the entire BAPS team and all volunteers. Thank you. What impresses me every time I come here, no matter what function you have, it's all done by volunteers. It's absolutely incredible, and I want to give a very, very big welcome, an Etobicoke welcome, an Ontario welcome to His Holiness, Mahant Swami Maharaj. Your Holiness, welcome back to Toronto. Welcome back, as I always say it, the great state of Etobicoke. You're always welcome here. And on behalf of the Government of Ontario, I want to congratulate you and everyone here on the 50th anniversary of BAPS Canada. And I know we're celebrating it starting today, moving forward for the whole year. We're so proud to have such a thriving Hindu community with more than 500,000 Hindu Canadians living in Ontario. You have contributed so much to our province's success across all sectors, from business and the arts to culture to leadership and public service, and I know it's always service above self. And over the past 50 years, BAPS has had a huge impact, not only here in Etobicoke, but in communities right across our great province and our country. And we're so grateful for all the incredible volunteer and charity work that you've done to continue, including your annual walkathons to raise money for the local hospital. I know how grateful they are. Your blood donation and stem cell registry drives. And what stands out to me, when the world was going through the pandemic, when our province was going through the pandemic, who stepped up? Who was delivering more vaccines than any other place? Everyone from BAPS, thank you. Incredible job. Also, community health fairs, food and toy drives, and the list goes on and on and on. And it's not, what I love, it's not just the community. You reach out to everyone, because I remember in the pandemic, everyone was coming here to get vaccinated. Thank you. Over the past 50 years, your faith, your compassion, and your selflessness community service has been truly inspirational. You've helped to make our province the greatest place in the world to live, work, and raise a family. And I want everyone in this room to know our government will always, always be here for you. We will always work to ensure that all Ontarians can practice their faith without fear or intimidation. We will always have your backs. Once again, happy 50th anniversary, and I want to wish you all peace and harmony. And I can't wait to see all of you in Robbinsville, New Jersey. I'm flying down there. I'll see everyone down there. And you're coming with me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario. Premier, we're so happy to hear that you feel right at home here at the BAPS Sri Swaminarayan Mandir. Now it is our honor and pleasure to welcome to this podium High Commissioner Sanjay Kumar Verma, the High Commissioner of India to Canada, to address the gathering on this very special occasion.
His Holiness Mahant Swamiji Maharaj, Premier Fort, Minister Algabra, friends, ladies and gentlemen, on the occasion of 50 years of selfless community service by BAPS Canada, I bring the greetings of 1.4 billion Indians to all of you. "50 years of community service brings it to the DNA of BAPS Canada. It is not just one-off practice. It's not just one-off execution. It is something which has got into the DNA of BAPS Canada. And all of us present here today are volunteers to take that thought leadership forward. Thought leadership of Pramukh Swamiji Maharaj, thought leadership of Mahant Swamiji Maharaj, thought leadership of all of you present here. When you do the community service, you do not care for whom are you rendering your services to. Because that is the principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which our sages and saints from ancient times have taught us. It is service to the humanity. So let me rephrase, you have not served the community for 50 years, you have served humanity for 50 years. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, there are other smaller organizations amongst our Indo-Canadian community who are doing exemplary work, but they remain disconnected. An organization like BAPS Canada should take it upon itself to connect all those smaller organizations who are doing exemplary community service to humanity that you are doing as well. Under your leadership, under your thought leadership, they can come together, you can leverage each other's resources and take the name of Indo-Canadians, the name of India, the name of Bharat Mata even further and more. Before I end, friends, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for inviting me here. I thank you for listening to me, and I thank you very much for having a part of this wonderful, beautiful humanitarian event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, High Commissioner. Lastly, we would like to request His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj to share his blessings. Mahant Swami Maharaj, Pramukh Swami Maharaj kehta કે બીજાના ભલામાં આપનું ભલું છે અને બીજાના સુખમાં આપનું સુખ છે. Meaning, in the joy of others lies our own. અને પ્રમુખ સ્વામી મહારાજની એ જીવન ભાવનાનું, એ જીવન મંત્રનું આપ મૂર્તિમાન સ્વરૂપ છો. You are the embodiment of that motto, Mahant Swami Maharaj, because you travel the world to simply to serve others, inspire spirituality, and shower your care and affection on all. આપનું સમગ્ર જીવન સમાજને કલ્યાણ અને વિશ્વના ઉત્કર્ષ માટે જ રહ્યું છે. ગુણાતીત ગુરુઓના જીવનમાંથી પ્રેરણા લઈને BAPS સમાજની સેવા કરી છે. With your guidance and inspiration, BAPS has served Canada for the last 50 years. But as we look ahead, Mahant Swami Maharaj, we seek your guidance and vision as to how we can continue to build on that spirit of service and volunteerism in Canada. Mahant Swami Maharaj, આપ અમને એવા માર્ગદર્શન આપો કે સમાજની સેવા કઈ રીતે કરવી અને કઈ વિચારથી કરવી.
સ્વામિનારાયણ ભગવાનની જય, અક્ષર પુરુષોત્તમ મહારાજની જય, ગુણાતીતાન સ્વામી મહારાજની જય, ભગતજી મહારાજની જય, શાસ્ત્રીજી મહારાજની જય, યોગજી મહારાજની જય, પ્રમુખ સ્વામી મહારાજની જય, પ્રમુખ સ્વામી પ્રમુખ સ્વામી મહારાજે પોતાના જીવનકાળ દરમિયાન નિસ્વાર્થ ભાવે ભગવાનને રાજી કરવા સમાજ સેવા કરી છે. નિસ્વાર્થપણું એ ભારે શબ્દ છે, કારણ કે બધામાં કંઈ થોડું ઘણું સ્વાર્થ હોય છે. છેવટે માનની ઈચ્છા પણ હોય. એ ક્ષમ્ય છે. એને આ બધું કાર્ય કરવા પાછળ આ બધું હોય, પણ કાર્ય મુદ્દો છે, કાર્ય કરી છે. એવી રીતે આપણે પણ એમના પગલે બેસવાશું. અને પ્રમુખ સ્વામી મહારાજ આખી જિંદગી કોઈ દિવસ પોતાના માટે સમય કાઢ્યો જ નથી. એક કાર્ય, બીજા કાર્ય, ત્રીજા કાર્ય, અને પોતે ખરેખર આ ખાલી કહેવા પૂરતું નથી, એ જીવન જીવી ગયા છે. જીવન બધા આપણે તો કહીએ છીએ, પણ એ જીવન જીવી ગયા. એક સેકન્ડ પણ સમાજ સેવા, ભગવાનની સેવા સિવાય નિર્ગમ્યું નથી. યોગી મહારાજ કહેતા, ભગવાન સૌનું ભલું કરો, ભગવાન બધાનું સારું કરો, તે ભાવના આપણે પણ રાખીને સેવા કરી. આ બહુ આ સ્વામી પ્રમુખ સ્વામી મહારાજ એ ક્ષણે ક્ષણ એમને આ આપણા માટે વાપર્યું છે. બીજું એમને પોતા માટે સમય જ નહોતો. એક સેવા પૂરી થઈ, બીજી સેવા, ત્રીજી સેવા, અને એક સેવામાં 5 સેવા ચાલતી હોય. એને બધું સ્વામી બાપા સેવા 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 એ જ સોચતા હતા, બીજું કાંઈ નહીં, બીજું કાંઈ ખપે નહીં. યોગીજી મહારાજ કહેતા, યોગી મહારાજ કહેતા, ભગવાન સૌનું ભલું કરો, ભગવાન બધાનું સારું કરો, તે ભાવને આપણે રાખવી અને સેવા કરવી. આ કેટલું સુંદર વાક્ય છે, ભગવાન સૌનું ભલું કરો. હવે 2-5નું ભલું ઈચ્છીએ, પણ બીજા ઠેવે ચડાવીએ. અને ભગવાન સૌનું ભલું કરો એ મુખ્ય છે. મહારાજ પ્રમુખ સ્વામી મહારાજનું જીવન સૂત્ર, ઇન ધ જોય ઓફ અધર્સ લાઈઝ અવર ઓન. પ્રમુખ સ્વામી મહારાજ પણ કેટલું સુંદર વાક્ય. અત્યારે વૈજ્ઞાનિકો લોકો પણ એને સંમત થાય છે કે બીજાનું ભલું ઈચ્છું, ખાલી ઈચ્છું તો એ તમને ખૂબ લાભ થાય. તો ભલું કરવું તો એમાંથી તો કેટલો બધો લાભ થાય. સબ સુધમાં એકતાથી સેવા કરીએ તો આપણને શાંતિ થાય, બીજા સમાજ થાય. સબ હવે સેવા તો બધા કરીએ છીએ, અને એકબીજાનું ખમી શકે નહીં. તમે પરફેક્ટ સેવા કરો છો, પણ તમે બીજાનું સહન ના થાય, બીજે આગળ વધતા હોય. પણ પ્રમુખ સ્વામીમાં સેવા, પ્યોર સેવા, એમાં બીજું કોઈ ગાલમેલ નહીં. બસ એમના મનમાં જ બધું હતું, સેવાની ભાવના. આ સમાજ સેવાનું કાર્ય આગળ ને આગળ વધતું જ જશે. અને જો આપે તો BAPSમાં તો બાળપણથી બાળ મંડળ, યુવક મંડળ, બધા મંડળો ચાલે છે, પણ એમાં આ શિક્ષણ આપવામાં આવે છે કે કોઈનું આપે જોવું નહીં, પોતે પોતાનું જોવું અને સેવા કરવી. બીજાને જોવાથી આપણું મગજ બગડે અને એવું થાય. આ ભાવનાથી સમાજ સેવા કરશું તો ફ્યુચર ઇઝ બ્રાઇટ. આ ભાવનાથી જો આપણે બધા મંડી પડીએ આવી સેવા કરવા કે નિસ્વાર્થ ભાવથી આપણે સેવા કરીએ. કોઈ कुछ लेना ना देना, मगन हो रहना. आप एप्लाई करिए. तो આમ જો સીધે સીધું છે, બધું મૂકી દઈએ. કચરો, માન, ઈર્ષ્યા, ક્રોધ, કપટ એ બધું મૂકી દઈએ અને ખાલી સેવા પર તાન રાખીએ કે બધાનું ભલું થાય એ રીતે સેવા કરીએ તો આપણે આ પૃથ્વી સ્વર્ગ થઈ જાય. આ ભાવનાની સમસ્યા આજે આપણી સભામાં જે મહાનુભાવો આ પધાર્યા છે બધાને તે સર્વેનું આપણે સ્વાગત કરીએ છીએ અને પ્રાર્થના કરીએ છીએ કે તેઓ પોતાના ક્ષેત્રમાં ખૂબ પ્રગતિ કરે અને તને મને ધને સુખી થાય. આ બધું જોઈએ. તમે ગ્રસ્ત છો એટલે તન મન તો સમજે, પણ ધનની જરૂર. એટલે બધા શુભ લક્ષ્મી એટલે ખોટી રીતે નહીં પણ સારી શુભ લક્ષ્મી પ્રાપ્ત થાય અને એ સેવા તમે કરો એ જ પ્રાર્થના. સદાનંદ સ્વામી મહારાજની જય.
Thank you very much, Mahant Sai Maharaj, for gracing us with your blessings. We are so privileged to have the presence of distinguished guests with us in the audience today as we celebrate the occasion of Community Day in the presence of His Holiness Mahant Sai Maharaj. We request you all to put your hands together to welcome our guests in the audience, Honorable Stephen Lecce, the Minister of Education and the MPP for King Vaughan. Joining us earlier today was also Honorable Michael D. Ford, the Minister of Citizenship, Multiculturalism, and the MPP for York South West. And please put your hands together to welcome Sonia Sidhu, the Member of Parliament for Brampton South. Shafkat Ali, the MP for Brampton Centre. We're honored to have with us Francesco Sobra, the MP for Vaughan Woodbridge. Also joining us in the audience today, Deepak Anand, the Member of Provincial Parliament for Mississauga Malton. Welcome and thank you for joining us. We're happy to see Rudy Cuzetto, the MPP for Mississauga Lakeshore. Dina Tangri, the MPP for Mississauga Streetsville. Thank you for joining us again. David Smith, the MPP for Scarborough Centre. Please put your hands together for all of our guests here. We're welcoming Graham McGregor, the MPP for Brampton North. Eris Babikian, the MPP for Scarborough Agincourt. Logan Kanapati, the MPP for Markham Thornhill. Amarjot Sandhu, the MPP for Brampton West. And Sheriff Sabawi, the MPP for Mississauga, Erin Mills. We're also so pleased to welcome here today His Worship Neil Ellis, the Mayor of the City of Belleville. Thank you for joining us today, sir. We're happy to have with us Councillor Vincent Crisanti, the City of Toronto Councillor for Ward 1, the riding of our Mandir, Etobicoke North. We're also joined by Councillor Josh Matlow, the City of Toronto Councillor for Toronto St. Paul's. Thank you all for joining us and being our wonderful distinguished guests today as we celebrate Community Day and the launch of 50 years of BAPS Community Services in Canada. We're also so pleased to recognize the following guests in the audience. Swami Shri Sadyojata from the Art of Living. Thank you for joining us today. We're also pleased to welcome Dr. Lucky Lakshmanan from the Sringeri Mandir. Also joining us today, Ashwini Birdwatch from the Lakshmi Narayan Temple. We're so pleased to have in our presence S.K. Surendrabhai Desai from Lakshmi Narayan Temple. Welcome. We're happy to see Dr. Frank Martino, the President and CEO of the William Osler Health System. Also joining us is Ken Mayhew, the CEO of the William Osler Health System Foundation. We also welcome Susan Decree from the CNIB, one of our beneficiaries, and Nav Bhatia, who's also in the audience today. Thank you all for joining us and for being our gracious guests. Jai Swaminarayan.
Joining us today as we kick off the beginning of our year-long celebrations for the 50 years of BAPS in Canada. As we approach the end and conclusion of this program, we find ourselves filled with deep gratitude for all that BAPS has done for communities across our country. But let's remember that today, this program is not the end. This is a reminder for all of us, inspired by and blessed by Mahant Swami Maharaj himself, that the baton is now in our hands. Because all of us seated here today have a collective responsibility to carry that legacy of selfless service forward for the next 50 years and beyond. Before His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj and our guests depart, we'd like to end off with a prayer to Bhagwan Swaminarayan, to Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and to you, Mahant Swami Maharaj, that you continue to inspire us to serve others, embrace unity, and live for the joy of others. Thank you, and Jai Swaminarayan.